YouTube family and podcast family. I just want to start over. I'm sorry, this is my second time again. I don't know what's going on, but YouTube keeps trying to do ads while I am doing this live streaming and it interrupts. And so I'm doing a second round again. I hope you guys will come back on. Good morning. Happy crappy hour to you guys. Welcome to Happy Crappy Hour and good morning or happy Thursday to you. Today I want to talk about no contact. And welcome back, you guys. I see you're coming back on, so I'm so glad you're coming back on. I don't know what happened. YouTube is trying to play advertisement during our live stream, and I have turned that off, but for some reason they keep trying to do this. So I will see what I can do to keep that from happening again and again, because it interrupts the live stream and freezes my screen and I can't see what you guys are typing, and it's a disaster. So welcome back. Good to see you. Today we're going to talk about no contact. And the reason for that is because I've been seeing several comments about missing the narcissist. I've been seeing a lot of comments about the narcissist coming back into people's lives, and even like creating incognito or creating fake accounts that you don't even know about in order to get to you and send you messages because you have blocked them. So they are trying to figure a way to contact you. So I've seen some of that from some of my viewers, and they're dealing with it. They're struggling with it because they do miss the narcissist. They still love the narcissist. So I want to talk about that. Mainly, you know what, today I'm going to also give you a few stories of people in my life where, oh my gosh, I look at that and I see a disaster happening as far as contact. One of the things I hear people or have heard victims of narcissistic abuse say is, I will always love them. Yeah, that is really, I don't even know where to begin with that, because, you know, to say that you will always love this abuser, always love this person who destroyed you, always love this person who cheated on you and discarded you and just demolished your trust in people, you know, you're going to love this person who just like tore out your heart. And I want to say, you know what, don't give that person a place in your heart anymore. Don't give that person any more control over your mind or over your feelings anymore, because what happens is you're going to now be caught up with them and stuck with them. You're not going to be able to detach yourself. You're going to want to contact them. That's where we come back to the no contact again, you guys, right? You want to be able to pull away and not just, you have to separate. Oh my gosh, I want to talk about some different movements out there too. There's so many things that are happening right now I want to talk about. But one of the things I have been learning about is the MGTOW movement, men going their own way, MGTOW. And there's a lot of controversy about this because there's some women who are very upset about this movement because well, I can see why, because there are men who are joining the MGTOW movement who are very anti-women, right? They're very angry at what happened to them. They're resentful and they're vengeful, and they just think, you know what, the heck with women, we hate women. So it's like, okay, the women haters, they're kind of joining the MGTOW movement. But I believe that the MGTOW movement did not start off with hating women. It was more about, look, I need to separate from women for now. And that's the men side. And I think that's kind of healthy. I think it's healthy that if you don't feel like you have to jump into a relationship one after another, after another, after another, in order not to feel lonely. If you're feeling lonely, the moment, I mean, not just the moment after you break up with somebody, but if you cannot control or take care of that loneliness feeling on your own, then making somebody else take responsibility for your loneliness is not going to be healthy. It's not a healthy way to start another relationship. So I think it's good that the MGTOWs are pulling away and working on themselves. thinking about, their physical health, thinking about their mental health, thinking about their emotional health. That's a good thing because you want to take care of yourself first and grow and get stronger before you start another relationship. And that advice is good for women too. There should be a wig towel going on out there. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but I wish that I should go Google it actually, the wig towels, and see if there are women going their own way. Which I think the idea really is that you need to stop thinking you have to be in a relationship. You have to be physical with somebody. You have to be emotionally tied to somebody in order to not feel lonely. And the reason I even bring this up is because it highly affects the no contact rule. The biggest temptation that you're going to get while you're trying to stay no contact, the biggest temptation comes from feeling lonely. It comes from feeling like you're missing out and that you're not able to go back to where you were before, right? Recreate the great times or the beautiful times and the happiness that you did have with the toxic person or abuser or user you were with. And it clouds your judgment completely because just listen to what I just said. You're missing the abuser and user toxic person. That's ridiculous, right? That we should even miss them. So when you're missing them, you're going to feel like you want to contact them again. So, hey, you guys, if you're coming on, welcome, welcome. I'm really sorry that I had to start over for some of you who were with me from the beginning and, I got cut off there. YouTube was trying to run some ads. For some reason, I did not have the ads turned on, or I don't know if even these settings work or don't work. But I checked my settings and the ads were not turned on. So I don't know why they were even trying to do ads in the middle of my live stream. But welcome back. And I hope that you guys will jump on and let me know what you guys are thinking. What are your thoughts on no contact? What are your struggles with this? And if it's not really a struggle for you, that's fine. That's great, actually. It's just that I've been hearing a lot from viewers that they're running into their exes, or they're being contacted by their ex, and it just opens up the wound again, and they feel like they want them back. Hey, Jihad Hazam. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about butchering your name, but it's good to see you. Everything is good for me. Is what Jihad says. I'm a single father of 2 kids going through court and divorce with the ex-narc. Got full custody of the kids. Wow. Just finishing up the divorce, hopefully finished soon. I'm so glad that you're saying this because I've been in communication with some MGTOW men, which is the men going their own way, because I wanted to better understand what's going on with them. I'm also in contact with people who are red pill men. And I think there's a difference. I'm trying to get them to figure out for themselves what the difference is. And I'm trying to figure out what the difference is between a red pill man and a MGTOW man, and men going their own way. Because what I'm hearing from that community, from some of the men who are joining those communities, is that women get everything and men get nothing, even in the courts, and how women destroy the guys financially, or they always get the benefit of the doubt legally. So I'm really glad to hear, Jihad, that you were able as a father to get full custody of the kids. So it's not always the women, but definitely there has been a favor on women, on mothers, right, to have the children, have custody of the children. And I think our courts are changing. I think our courts are starting to see that that's not always the best option for the kids. It's the parent who's stable, who's going to be able to, who has shown, right, a pattern of being able to take care of the kids and are not addicted to, any substances or have some really bad habits or abusive habits or anything like that. So, oh my gosh, you guys are hopping on. This is great. Agriculturist, good to see you again. I'm so sorry that I lost you there. And Crystal Jean, good to see you. Let me see. Agriculturist says it's much better with no contact, but after seeing him, I get the desire to look at his Facebook. Not looking since 6 months though. Oh, I'm so glad you're not looking. Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, when you run into them, when they send you a little text that says, hey, just thinking about you, you're going to feel tempted to reconnect. You're going to feel tempted to get back in touch. You're going to feel tempted to even look again, right? And I wanted to say that even if you do send a text and you're missing them so much, and you're thinking, what's the harm? What's the harm of saying, hey, I was thinking about you? What's the harm of saying, what are you doing this summer? Or what's the harm of saying, maybe even trying to elicit sympathy from them that, something bad happened. Oh, my dog passed away, or, whatever happened, or I lost my job, or this, and you're thinking, oh, they're going to care about me and they're going to respond back and say, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But I want to tell you, here's the horrible thing. You're inviting their horrible, bad behavior back into your life when you do that. And most likely, you're not going to get the response you want. What you may hear is, oh, life is going great for me. I met a new person and we're going on vacation. And you're going to feel like, what the heck? Why did I ask? You guys. So let me see. Crystal Jean says here, I don't love him anymore. I do feel the addiction still though. Yeah. Oh yeah, strike the first don't. Okay. You officially don't love him anymore, but you feel the addiction still. Yeah, and part of that addiction, by the way, I wanted to talk about why I even brought up the MGTOW, the men going their own way movement, is because it started off with men cutting themselves off from women for a while anyway, right? The movement was kind of, we don't need women to fulfill us and satisfy us and whatever, because the women that have been in our lives have been really toxic and abusive, and we don't need that anymore. And I agree with that. I agree with that with men and with women. Women who've had partners who are toxic and abusive and narcissistic, you don't need that in your life anymore. And it's a good idea not to jump into another relationship right away, right? It's a good idea. But why? Why do people jump into a relationship again right away? Because they're lonely. So what the MGTOWs are doing is they're working on themselves. That is the idea. The MGTOWs who are not working on themselves, they're missing the whole point of why this is a good movement. You should be if you are going your own way, if you're a woman going your own way or a man going your own way, that's good. Don't jump into another relationship right away to solve the loneliness factor. If you're going to do that, you're only going to be, what is it? You're trying to distract yourself from dealing with the wound. You're distracting yourself from healing from your last relationship. You're distracting yourself from actually addressing how you got into the abusive or toxic relationship. And you're not going to prevent yourself from getting into another one because you're jumping right into another relationship. And it may not even be like a long-term or a serious relationship. Even jumping into another cordial or fly-by-night, one-night stand type of relationship is not going to help you. It's going to get you more addicted to fixing loneliness. That's where the addiction comes from. You're missing what this person fulfilled in your life. You're missing the role that person filled in your life. Even if it's someone to come home to cuddle with, or someone just to go and do things with, like, you used to go riding bikes together or something, and now you're out there thinking, I miss that. I'm really addicted to this person because they did these things with me, and I miss their presence. And what it is really is that you're not dealing with you're not dealing with your own loneliness and how to fulfill that. When you're full and you have taken care of your emotional health, your physical health, your financial health, once you've taken care of those things, then that's a really good time to start addressing the loneliness factor, okay? Once you've done that, then the loneliness factor is not going to be as big, as huge, or as tempting to do the wrong things. It won't tempt you to do the wrong things. You are going to be like much more healthy minded, and you'll realize, it would be really nice to have somebody, a partner in my life. And at that point, you're going to be able to think a little more clearly because you're not financially distressed. You're not emotionally distressed. You're not physically distressed. You're not going to add any distress to your choices here. You're going to see people more clearly. Anyway, you guys, and that all has to do with the no contact. I wanted to tell you that because we want to contact the narcissist because we miss them. We want to know what's going on with them, or even you want to verify that you're doing better than them. And a lot of times that backfires. I just want to let you know, you have to get to a point where it doesn't matter what the narcissist is doing. And it doesn't matter to you where they are and what's going on in their life. So let me see, you guys. Oh, John Bailey, hey, welcome back. Yes, we're back. So sorry about that. Agriculturist says, he was at my company last week. I had to work outside. Only was a short time in, but he came looking for me. Afraid of the oncoming business trip where he will be too. Ah, yeah. I remember you mentioning that last time. Yeah. So, he may try to contact you because narcissists generally think that they're caring people, but you know that they are going to be destructive. You know that they are no good for you. You know that your relationship with them, and it might be largely on your part. If you're not healed and able to stand on your own, you're going to be so weakened that you may go right back into a relationship where you're going to lose yourself again. And that's not a good relationship where somebody else takes over everything and controls it all because you lose yourself. You need to be able to separate yourself from that. All right, you guys, Crystal says, that's where I am. You need the time to heal. Lonely sometimes, of course, but not often. He's jumping from host to host. Exactly. And that's why I think the MGTOW movement has come out, because it's trying, there are men, I guess the men who started it, I should look and find out who actually started this. But what I'm hearing from some of the MGTOW men is that they just need the time to heal. They need the time to get their affairs in order. They're trying to get their life back in order. They're trying to get their home situation back in order. They're trying to get structure back into their life again, or they're trying to work on their career again. They're trying to reestablish relationships that they let go. They're trying to figure out who they even are because they lost themselves in the relationship with the women that they were with, right? It happens both ways, you guys. It happens to men and it happens to women, that we lose ourselves in a relationship. When you do that, you're going to end up so confused and so devastated if the other person leaves, right? You're not going to feel like, oh, I can handle this, or I'm still strong, or I still have my finances in order, or at least I still have, I'm still physically fit. Or a lot of times we let everything go inside of a relationship because we don't take care of ourselves. And so the MGTOW movement is about taking care of themselves, right? The men trying to take care of themselves. And unfortunately, some men who've joined this movement are taking it to this really hateful level where they just, blurt out how much they hate women because they're around other people who are talking about abusive women in their relationships, right? They're comparing notes. And anytime you compare notes about one particular group of people, and it makes you feel a little more sensitive to that group, and you start to stereotype that group, and you start to think, oh, that group is so horrible. Happens with women too, right? When women get together to talk about their exes, then they're going to start thinking, oh, all men are terrible. And that is where the toxicity comes back into your life, even though you were trying to heal from toxic abuse, right? You're trying to heal from the narcissistic abuse that you just came out of. And now you're welcoming it back in, but in the other direction. You're swinging the pendulum way over to the other side, and now you're going to be the toxic person, being hateful and angry. Anyway, I just wanted to share that part of it with you. Let me see here. Jihad says, I agree, one should heal themselves first and work on themselves after a toxic relationship and take their time to get into a relationship. That goes for both men and women. Yes, yes. Agriculturist says, I always feel so devalued when I realize he has so many women. Ah, sick, right? Really, really sick. So I've seen women, I'm part of another group, and I've seen women come on to this other group and they will bash the MGTOWs, right? They will, they're just being very hateful towards the men because the way they view the MGTOWs is that the men are hating them. And I want to tell you that's not the case. If you're coming back in and you're hating on somebody else, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to review this question or this comment again. Oh, yeah, because agriculturist was saying she feels so devalued because her ex is jumping from woman to woman. Well, here's the deal. It's a good thing that the MGTOWs are not jumping from woman to woman. Their idea is we're not going to deal with women at all right now. We're cutting all women out. Well, not their mothers probably, right? But cutting all romantic relationships out with women. We're going to work on ourselves. We're not going to get into these romantic or, relationships with women because we need to heal. That's a great thing. That's really good. So for these women to be bashing the MGTOWs on these other forums that I'm on, it just boggles me because I'm thinking you should actually, I mean, who they're really bashing are the men who are being hateful, and not all men, all MGTOWs are hateful men. Not all of them. I think the healthy ones are there for the right reasons, but like I said before, when you get into a group of people who are like you, right? If you get into a group of women all together talking about men, suddenly all men are the enemy. If you're a group of men talking about your bad women experience, suddenly all women are the enemy. I'm hoping that the healthy-minded MGTOWs who are not hateful will recognize that and stop that type of conversation where they're just bashing women, because that's not the point. But it is the point to get out what you're feeling. So, anyway, you guys kind of went on about that for a while. Crystal says, MGTOW is likely the result of toxic or cluster B women. It's the hate for all women I worry about. Escape, there's that guy that has posted the same hateful MGTOW comment on your vids. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I think he's been surrounded by other men who are bashing women and sharing their horrible experiences about, of course, the women in their life. So it kind of exacerbates their thinking that, oh, it must be all women who are doing this because they're only getting examples of the horrible women experiences that they've had. They're not going to go in there and say, oh, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm cutting myself from women because I've had really, wonderful women come into my life in other areas. No, they're going to only talk about the women who hurt them. So yeah, I know. I've seen him, but here's the thing. I want him to be able to still speak. And because he's speaking, I feel, from a place of woundedness. And that's probably why he ended up with the MGTOWs, because he was wounded. That's why I'm allowing some of this discussion that goes on my channel, and I don't delete it. But if people get on here, I want to say I didn't really delete people who actually came on and criticized him either, because I wanted you to be able to, I wanted people to be able to show him how inflammatory his comments are, and that, anyway, just give him an opportunity to stop and think about it for a bit. But also the people who are being inflamed by it, to stop and think, why am I getting so inflamed about this? How do I, even in this situation, get through to this person? So anger just begets more anger, right? Inflammation just creates more inflammation. Add fire to fire, it doesn't take it away, right? Anyway, so you got to come in with a cool glass of water, right? A cool bucket of water to put out that fire. So that's my hope for keeping conversation open between men and women on this channel. And you're right, Crystal Jean, because I have had some women come on here and they just totally bash men, right? They just hate men. And I wanted to let them know, like, no, there are good men out there. I know, because I'm married to one, And not just that, I have other good men in my life. And they're not all married, by the way. So I know there are good single men out there. Anyway, guys. Jihad says, Crystal, if they're jumping from supply to supply, just trust me, they're not happy and they're stuck in a cycle. The smart one should heal and improve themselves, and it will be better in the long run. Yes, thank you for saying that. John Bailey says, she contacted me 2 days ago and said she was this close to getting on a phone and coming to see me. I was like, what the heck? Yeah, yeah, oh my. So you have to decide, John, like how that would go. She may be very desperate right now, very lonely, very desperate, remembering that you were good to her. And this is where the MGTOWs come in. This is why I'm kind of hesitant, but also, curious to look into this, because the MGTOWs are helping other men who are going through narcissistic abuse to not take back the abuse of women, not take back or be tempted to submit themselves again to being used or abused again. It's the same thing as these forums right here, but I think it's more healthy if we have both men and women together talking, because then the men will understand what the heck's going on the women's side, and the women will understand what the heck is going on the men's side. But as far as users and abusers, they are from both sexes. And what we want to do as a community is help each other to separate from users and abusers, whether they're a man or a woman. It's not all men, not all women, but for the meantime, separate from the opposite sex or what sex you're attracted to, right? Separate from that and work on yourself. Don't tempt yourself to get into a romantic relationship and get tied into one again before you work on yourself. Because like I said earlier, it's only going to distract you. And not only that, you guys, you know what just kind of occurred to me is with the no contact, the reason that we may be tempted to jump from person to person is actually an answer to no contact. It's a bad answer, okay, to no contact. I want to make that clear. But that's the solution that some abused people or victims of abuse and use come out, and they feel like, I'm missing this other person so much. I'm feeling so lonely. So what do? They jump to the next person so they don't feel so lonely. So they don't miss their ex as much. So they're using another person to prevent themselves from contacting their ex. That's not a healthy way to deal with it, because then what happens when that relationship doesn't work out, or what happens when you feel devalued by that person? You're going to feel even worse, because you're coming from a place of woundedness and getting even more wounded. So anyway, you guys, with no contact, there's so many reasons and ways that we respond to that feeling of wanting to contact the narcissist, wanting to contact the toxic person that had hurt us. And part of that is one of the responses, or one of our solutions, bad solutions, by the way, to solve that desire to contact them, is to start or get into multiple relationships. And what you're really doing there is you're running from your ability to be alone. And I'm not saying be alone for the rest of your life or be alone for the next year. Just be alone, set a goal. Set a goal for yourself. Be alone for 90 days. Be alone for 3 months. Like, just give yourselves 3 months. I am not dating anybody. I'm going to work on myself. And then start a schedule. Start working on, like, okay, what am I going to work on tomorrow? Like, starting, or even today, but today would be the day you write out your list of things you want to work on. If it's finances, start making a plan about that. I'm going to get into a financial program that's going to get my finances in order. I'm going to pay off this debt. I'm going to get more education and work on my career, stuff like that. Okay, you guys, I'm missing out on some of the comments here. Let me see. what we've got. Agriculturist. Yeah, Crystal Jean, you said that. Agriculture. I'll come back to your comment, but Crystal Jean says, yeah, exactly. That's impossible for narcs. They just cannot be alone. That's why they jump from person to person. But here's the deal: non-narcissists also jump from people to people, and that was the why I was talking about what I just was talking about. If you're feeling so lonely and wounded, you may jump from person to person trying to fill that empty space, that loneliness, and it's not going to be healthy for you or your partner. Agriculturist says, I think I'm able to meet him, but 2 days, I'm not sure if I should try to overlook him and not talk to him. If I have to do small talk, if I can largely ignore him without others noticing. But you know what? Here's the deal, agriculturist. It doesn't matter what other people notice. It doesn't matter what other people notice at all. Just focus on what you need to do. Don't worry about how it might look to others. Just because if you're worried about that, you're going to end up behaving in a way that controls you. You're being controlled by what you perceive others are thinking of you. And you don't want to behave or react out of that. You want to react or how do you say this? Not react. You respond, right? You want to respond and react actually in a way that's coming from a very healthy place inside of you. Like if you feel like talking to him, talk to him. If you don't feel like talking to him, just say, you know what? I really don't want to talk about or whatever he's talking about. You know what? I don't feel comfortable talking with you right now, but I can be, I don't even know that you want to say that. You don't want to be too honest with him. Just say that you're not interested in having a conversation right now. You have to do something else, or you want to do something else. I want to go over here and talk to this person, or I just wanted to get a drink from over there. Can you please just give me some space? Just, and that's fine to say that. And if they don't want to give you space, then they have a problem. And if other people are like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy, that's their problem. You're not there to please them or put on a show for them. And by the way, narcissists, abusers, toxic people will use the environment to control their target. They will use the, surrounding people, onlookers, thinking that this will control the target and how the target behaves. So not that you want to throw a fit or anything like that. You want to be in total control of yourself. Just go over, and you may even want to practice, by the way, a little bit before you go. Maybe if you have a friend that comes over, and you can practice with your friend, or you can practice in the mirror, or you can just practice, in your room by yourself, saying, okay, he's going to say this, hey, how are you doing? And you could say, I'm doing great, but, you don't even have to ask him, how are you doing? That's ridiculous. If you don't feel like knowing what the heck's going on with him, and you should not, by the way, because of no contact, you just say, oh, I'm doing great, and just leave it at that. And, turn your attention to somebody else and start talking to them. Or, oh, I'm doing great, thanks for asking. And then try to include other people into your conversation. And then he will not be able to make it very personal. So let me see. Crystal says, I left mine, so it threw him into a supply tailspin. I don't think he had a secondary supply to take my place. Just many, tertiary ones. John says, she actually said, I haven't heard from you in a while. Why would you hear from me to begin with? You have someone now and you're still not satisfied. Oh my gosh, John, be so careful. Are you responding to her when she contacted you? They say to go gray rock, go no contact, don't respond, because the big point that I wanted to bring out, and I know this is pretty far down the road with no contact, is that contact with the narcissist gives them supply. Let me say that again. Contact with the narcissist gives the narcissist supply. And not only that, it will give the narcissist supply while it drains you. So that's what contact is. It's like when someone is pilfering gas from your car. They'll come up to your car and they're going to put a siphon in there, right, in your gas tank, and they're pilfering the gas from your car. It's a one-way contact. You're going to be depleted while the narcissist gets to be filled. So I want you to realize that when the narcissist contacts you and you respond, or you interact with them, or you give them a bone, or you're thinking, I'm just going to be polite, you're actually giving them supply. Now, it's up to you how much supply you want to give them. None at all, which is best. But if you're in a situation like agriculturists and you have to work with them and they come up to you and they're like, hey, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Now, in order to get out of that, you may have to give the narcissist a tiny bit of supply, which is to acknowledge like, oh, I see you. Okay, yeah, things are great. But I really got to talk to Tom over there. Or, I've been trying to find Gail. I got to go over here now. So whatever attention you give them, it can be very limited. And you get to choose how much attention you're going to give them and how much supply you're willing to give them, which I think is like minimal. Okay, you got to keep it minimal. Hey, Diva R, good to see you. You made it. My morning meeting got cut short. Yay! And we kind of got started late because the beginning, YouTube was kind of messing with putting ads in my live stream and cutting off my live stream. So Crystal says, John, they don't get, so glad to see you here, Diva. Crystal Jean says, John, they don't get that. Oh, they don't get that you're done. How could you possibly be done with wonderful? Mine phrases it like, I know how difficult it is for you to talk to me. LOL. Let him think that. Yeah, because even if you engage with them to clarify to them, that gives them supply. So don't even bother clarifying. They're not going to listen to you anyway. They're going to think you're in denial. Oh, you still love, oh, I know she still loves me because this hurts her so badly. And by the way, again, supply. Because if they know they're still affecting you, if they know that you still miss them, if they know that you're, even if it's anger, if they know that they still make you angry, that means to them that they are worthy, that they have worth in your life. So they're going to get supply from that. Agriculturist says, Crystal, that doesn't bother you? That's great. Yeah, agriculturist, maybe a good place for you to focus on is how to not be concerned about what other people think, including the narcissist. It just doesn't matter what he thinks. If he thinks like, wow, you're so cold, yeah, let him think that. It just doesn't matter because he's not going to be a part of your life for the rest of your life. By the way, here's another thing. I don't know if I mentioned it in this segment, but but I've seen or I've heard from people, and I have had a friend, actually, one friend in particular, who was a victim of well, I don't know. He's not really a friend. I met him because of our mutual, acquaintance. I don't know. He was going to marry her. She was a good friend of mine. She was a covert narcissist. But I remember him saying to me one time after she dumped him, and this became so clear to me. I wanted to actually totally share their story with you because, okay, let me start from the beginning. Okay, this is a covert narcissist that I'd known for multiple years, and I did not see it come out until a couple years ago now. So what happened in their relationship was she was dating him for about a year, had been telling me that he wanted to marry her. She wasn't sure that she wanted to marry him. So going into their second year, she started up a relationship with another guy. And I'm going to call it a relationship. She was like, oh no, he's just coming out of a bad marriage. So we're just friends and we just meet to go have lunch. And he comes and picks me up in the middle of the day to, at my work to take me out to lunch. And we go have picnics, or he takes her out to dinner. He takes her out to happy hour. They go to movies together. Okay. This is not the guy she's going to marry. This is the guy that she has on the side, okay, who she says they're just friends, okay? So this guy who's going through a divorce is contacting her, and it's obvious to me that he's pursuing her for not just being a friend, okay? He's pursuing her. Yeah, you know what I mean. So in her, her description is that this she's not cheating, right? And she even convinces the first guy that they're just friends, and he's okay with it. He's like, wow, she's so good to be helping this friend of hers go through his divorce. She's so good. All right, so now get to the point where she finally decides, I do want to marry the first guy. So the first guy's like, yes, all right, he's so happy. They're looking at engagement rings, they're gonna get engaged. And out of the blue, and I maybe not so out of the blue, but she finds something to pretty much blow up the relationship. She decides that he cheated on her, which he did not. But she decides this. And because that has to be her story to take to guy number 2. So she takes the story to guy number 2. He cheated on me. How can I ever forgive him? I've been cheated on before. My ex-husband left me, and so how I can't deal with this anymore. And guess what? Guy number 2 has the opportunity of reconciling with his soon to be ex-wife, right? Because they're in divorce proceedings. But soon to be ex-wife was thinking, maybe we can, we still have a family. Let's try to make this work. I'm so sorry. Anyway. So guy number 2 says, I cannot do this to this woman, cannot do this to the covert narcissist. I cannot abandon her. So wait a minute. You're not going to abandon this covert narcissist and try to fix it with your wife. You're not going to try to reconcile with your wife and benefit your family because you're so hard up now for this covert narcissist who's been playing you for a year while she was interested in sleeping with guy number 1. Okay, so dropping guy number 1, moving on to guy number 2. Guy number 1 just is devastated. He did not see it coming. He thought they were just friends. And by the way, guy number 2, how do I even start with this? Okay, guy number 1 makes pretty good money, 6 figures on up. Guy number 2 also makes pretty good money. Turns out he's starting to make better money than guy number 1. So, who's looking more attractive to covert narcissists now? It's getting so horrible, right? Here's the deal. So guy number 2 is so enthralled with covert narcissists because let me tell you, she's bragged about like how good she is in bed, and she just like it blows the guy's mind and rocks his world. So what do you think's happening with guy number 2? Blowing his mind and rocking his world, okay? Of course he's not going to go back to his wife. Of course he's going to feel protective of the covert narcissist because now he thinks guy number 1 is a total jerk for cheating on her, right? So, which is her version of the story, by the way. So guy number 2 says to me, after all of this has blown up and he's spinning, he's just in this whirlwind. And he says, and of course she contacts him from time to time and they get together for drinks from time to time. I don't know if they're still contacting each other at this point. I would assume probably. But he says to me, and my husband, we were hanging out together because we knew the both of them. And we were, he I don't know, he just wanted to meet up and, let us know how he's doing. But he says to me, I will always love her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the thing with the no contact rule. You have to eliminate that idea that you will always love this toxic, narcissistic, abusive user because they will keep you tied to them. I can't imagine. I mean, I really hope that he's finding help somewhere. I'm hoping that he is discovering narcissism, the term narcissism and narcissistic abuse, and getting educated, just like all of us, right? Once we started getting educated about it, we start to open our eyes and realize, oh my gosh, I was played. No, I'm not going to continue to give this person any more of my time and my heart and my mind. I'm not going to say or condemn myself to always loving this person. Yeah, that to the narcissist is just simply divine supply. Because guess what? When things don't work out with guy number 2, guess who she's going to go to again? Guy number 1. She's going to go back to him and say, oh, you know what? Guy number 2 was a total jerk to me. He was so mean. And, she'll make up whatever story, and I can imagine already. And guy number 1 is going to feel like, that's terrible. That guy must have stole you away from me. You're right. And then they're going to blame guy number 2. They're not going to blame the covert narcissist. You guys, it is such a crazy psycho of, I don't even want to, just total crazy town. That's what it is. You guys, I am missing a lot of comments here. So that was my story. Lots of things to understand there, or lots of things to glean from, right? Which is what it looks like when a covert or an overt narcissist is playing to people. This is the way it looks. Also, another thing that this covert did with guy number 1 was he took her on a vacation, paid everything, right? Bought her ticket, paid for the hotel, paid for all their food, paid for everything they did while they were on vacation. She comes back and tells me, she doesn't tell me that actually. She doesn't tell me at all that he paid for her. She doesn't tell me, she doesn't give him any credit for taking her on this vacation. Instead, what she tells me is that how much money she spent, to make it sound like she paid for the vacation. So I was like, and she was telling me hundreds of dollars she was spending, right, on this vacation. And I was thinking, wow, that could easily add up to the ticket and probably the food she probably had to pay for. So she kind of alluded or tried to make it sound like she paid for her own ticket and she paid for her own food while she was out there. And knowing guy number 1, the little bit that I knew, I was really surprised because I thought, wow, I can't imagine him making her pay her own way on this vacation. I could see how much he kind of takes care of her and wants to do everything for her and gives everything to her. So later on, jump, forwards a few months when he was telling us he will always love her. I mentioned to him, that vacation, she mentioned that she spent this much money, and I'm not going to say how much, but enough to pay for her airfare and food out there. And he looks at me and he says, what do you mean? I said, well, she told me this is what she spent on the vacation. Because I'm trying to get him to see, like, you know what? She's saying crap about him. And he says, no, I paid for the vacation. I paid for her airfare. I paid for the hotel. I paid for all the food. I never had her pick up a single tab. He said, I can't imagine her spending hundreds of dollars at the airport getting snacks on her way, because he sent for her. Like, he had her fly out to meet him. So he's like, he couldn't imagine that she spent, almost $1,000 at an airport on snacks, So I'm just saying, these covert narcissists will paint a picture, even for people who are not involved at all. I'm not even involved in her, whatever she's doing with guy number 1 and guy number 2. But she wants to portray this guy number 1 a certain way in my mind, which didn't even really make sense because it did not follow the patterns I know about guy number 1. Anyway, you guys, this is what you're dealing with. This is what you're inviting back into your life. If, and it seems like, well, they weren't mean, they weren't horrible, they weren't, physically abusive, and they were loving, and they, rocked, your world sexually. But they don't love you. They love what you can do for them. And that's what you're welcoming back when you continue to allow contact, when you continue to interact with them, when you open the door for them to possibly hoover you. So be very careful with that. Let me see here. Sherry, good to see you. Sherry says, no contact means healing and finding yourself again. Yes. Diva says, no contact is the best decision I made. 15 months later, and he's just a bad memory. Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys. When you hit the 1 mark, thank you for bringing that up, by the way. When you hit the 1 mark anniversary, if you will, or, goal of no contact, you're going to still feel horrible. When you hit the 2 month mark, still going to feel horrible. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, possibly, 11 months. You may still feel lonely and sad and horrible about no contact. But after the 1 year, you start to feel like, wow, I went a whole year. After 12, 13, 14, on to 15 months here, they start to become just a bad memory. And not only that, you'll start to, in a healthy way, you'll be able to look back after probably at this point, 15 months on, right? And it may happen for some people sooner than that. You can look back, and it may happen later actually. You can look back and you can pick out the things that you want to keep in your life, not from the narcissist, but that you learned about yourself. That the things that the narcissist brought out about you, right? That you are, that you do like rock climbing. Maybe the narcissist introduced you to that, and you do like that. And you enjoyed the company of other rock climbers, different people in different groups have different feelings, feel to them. And that might have been your group. So yeah, you look back and you're like, oh, you know what? I want to reconnect with that community. I want to go back to the rock climbing community or whatever it might have been. So yeah, at some point you're going to look back and it's going to feel like just a faint memory of this person. They don't affect you at all anymore, but you'll be able to take on the good things and keep the good things in your life. So Crystal Jean says, Agri, oh, what he and his flying monkeys think about me doesn't bother me anymore. Because agriculturist was surprised that Crystal didn't care if the narcissist thought badly of her or had a misconception of her. So Crystal Jean says, took quite a while to get there, but yeah, they're horrible people. Why should I care about their toxic opinions? Absolutely. We don't want to give worth to even their opinions, right? We should not be controlled by what they think of us. Diva says the ex-narc can't find supply, so he sticks with his ex-wife. Oh, yep, they do. And that's what, John, if you're still here, that's what your ex is doing. You're like an ex-husband to her. So if your ex-narcissist or narcissistic ex is hoovering you back or trying to contact you again, it's because they are, like you said, even the new guy that she's with is not fulfilling to her, is not making her happy, because nobody can make these people happy. So she's going to come back to you and see if you can make her happy. And guess what? You're not going to make her happy either. And then she's going to discard you again. And the cycle continues and continues for them. They go back to whoever will take them back, because they're chasing supply in order to fill a hole in their soul, in their heart, in their life. And nothing can fill that hole. And even for us, that's the lesson here too with no contact, you guys. When you're feeling lonely, it's a hole that's in your heart or in your mind. If you go to somebody else and you try to fill that hole with new supply or somebody else, or start dating around, start sleeping around, you're trying to fill that hole with other things. You need to fill that hole of loneliness with good things. That loneliness comes from a place of woundedness that makes you think that you're not worthy. So when you start to become worthy, when you start to get your financial affairs in order, your physical affairs in order, you start to work out, you start to get healthy, when you start to get emotionally healthy, you know that you have worth, that you know that you're a smart person, you're funny, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you have confidence in yourself. You start to fill that hole. Anyway, you guys, so I just wanted to leave you with that. Jihad says, Exactly, Crystal. Their opinions and delusions don't matter to us. Crystal says, Diva, I think I was her. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see what Diva says. Oh, no. Diva had said that her ex couldn't find supplies, so he sticks with the ex-wife. And Crystal says, I think I was her, just somewhere to always come back to. Yep. And that's what happens. Let me see, you guys. I'm going to skip through some of these comments because you're just having a conversation. So, and catching up and stuff. So I just want to let you do that. Diva says, my breaking point was long coming. I could no longer stand to look at his face. He was gross, and I was embarrassed to even be associated with such a disgusting creature. Yes, that's another thing we do when we start to pull away. We start to see the toxic person, the narcissist, the abuser, or the user, or the really horrible person that they are. And they're not attractive. They're really gross. And we're like, wow, we were looking at them through rose-colored glasses or beer goggles, really, you know. We're looking at them and thinking how amazing they are because they gave us a little bit of attention, or maybe a lot of attention. They gave us some feeling of self-esteem, right? They boosted our self-esteem. And so we thought, they are really awesome. And we overlook really the ugliness that was always there in front of us. Sherry Russell, good to see you. And Crystal says, it was so nice to see Escape in her hubby. Oh, even if in shadow form. So cute. Thanks, Crystal. Yeah, that was, if you guys hadn't seen it, I'm starting a new segment. It's called Crazy Talk. So I'm hoping to have some people come on. I'm trying to figure out a way to even have you guys come on sometimes, and we can do a live real chat, right? Conversation. So my husband got me a soundboard, and he's getting me microphones, and he's working it all out for me, which is so nice. Yeah. So hopefully with Crazy Talk, I did one segment of it already. That was last week, and it was my husband and me. We were walking around, walking our dog, and I was hoping he would jump in, but he's not sure when to jump in because I'm talking the whole time. And also I want him to feel comfortable. Like, this is how it kind of goes when I do these live streams, and I want him to start to feel comfortable about when, or if he wants to jump in. I'm not going to push him or anything. John says, yeah, I did, unfortunately. Oh, let me go back. You did. Oh, you did talk to her? I had asked John if he responded to his ex when she contacted him, even though his ex is with another person, and she said that she was about to jump on an airplane to come see him. So he did respond. Well, John, it's up, it's always up to you how much you want to interact with them. At any point, you can always cut it off. And it doesn't have to be like a natural point or you don't have to ease into cutting her off again. It could be very abrupt. It could be like, you know what? Right now, you are no good for me. And you can even say it like that, right now. You don't have to say, get out of my life forever, I hate you. Okay? You can just say, right now, this is not a good time for me. And after that, just cut it off. Like, if she keeps contacting you, don't respond back, don't respond back, don't respond back. So it's up to you, honey. It's up to you, John. Sorry. I call my husband honey, and I call a lot of people honey, so I'm sorry about that. Who is this? Or Origin? Oh, Original One. Says, so good morning to you. I'm on 2 months, no contact. On the 22nd of May, it's been hell. Oh, yes. And LOL. And have been hoovered 13 times. Nasty emails from her. Been crazy 8. I haven't responded once. Ah, that's good. Good. Don't respond. Yes, it is hell as we go no contact. It is absolute hell. It is a war zone. Oh my gosh. I think, to go no contact is the fight of your life. It is. And it's a fight for your life, because when you go no contact, it's going to be like mines blowing up side by side, on the side of you, and you're running through and you're just trying to get through and you can't seem to see straight, and there's this big fog and dust bombs everywhere, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to stay focused on your goal of getting out of there when you go no contact. Emotionally, it's going to be so disruptive. Partly because it could be that you're missing them and all those emotions are coming out, and it could be that you're fearing them because they're dogging you, they're coming after you, they're making your life miserable. It's just all terrible as you go no contact. It is going to be a fight. So get ready for that. Prepare yourself, but also, and the way you prepare yourself is you take care of yourself. Take care of your needs. Pamper yourself. Forgive yourself. Do good things for yourself. And then set goals for yourself and start achieving those goals. You'll start to feel better. You're going to start to feel stronger. Crystal says, oh yeah, he was definitely using me and the kids. We were his mask of normalcy. Always his backup supply. Diva says, exactly, Crystal. The ex-narc uses his wife and kids to appear normal. Yes, they are always his backup supply. He doesn't care about any of them. Jihad says, for me, I have no contact with her. I have to co-parent with her, but that's it. I don't open any doors for conversations between us. Otherwise, that gives them opportunities to play their games with you. Yes, absolutely agree with that. Oh, Crystal says, Diva, ugh, I wonder how many women he spoke badly about me to. Probably all of them. Probably all of them. I'm thinking about my covert narc friend, and I'm certain that she's talking trash about everybody, including me. So, there were times early on, even no contact with friend narcissist, ex-friend narcissist, not even just a romantic narcissist, by the way. You have to go no contact with them. There will be times that you think, I'm just going to call them up and see if we can, have a resolution to the end of our friendship, or explain to her, or apologize for my part of it, or maybe she didn't understand where I would, she misunderstood this or that. Just go no contact. It just doesn't matter. They're already smearing you, and anytime you contact them, they're going to distort that and smear you with that. So it's just really no point to contact the ex-friend narcissist, or the narcissistic ex-friend, or the narcissistic ex-partner. It just doesn't help. Yeah, Diva says doormats. Yeah, that's what we are. We're just doormats. Crystal, Diva says, Crystal, you have things under control and you have learned to gray rock him. The narc's ex-wife is one of the biggest doormats I have ever come across. He can do anything to her and she takes it. That's exactly it. And that's what they want. The more of a doormat you can be, the more they're likely to come back. But why would you want to be a doormat, right? And even as a doormat, why? That's not a fulfilling life, right? Yeah, I really feel sorry for the people who take them back again and again and continue and allow them to stay and continue to abuse them. Crystal says, original one, that's it. Keep it up. It's not easy, lots of ups and downs, but you can do it, because original one is on month number 2 and it's hell. Yeah, it is. Yep. Diva says she is his enabler and flying monkey, even though he treats her like a slave. Yes, if you watched any of my flying monkey videos, that's how narcissists treat their flying monkeys too. We think that the flying monkeys, because they can be as toxic as the narcissist, that they are getting some kind of preferential or good treatment from the narcissist. No, they're not. They're just being used as well. You guys, our time is up. I'm going to let you wrap up a bit here. I'm going to read a few more comments. Crystal says, Jihad, yes, they certainly will. The great part, he has absolutely no idea I know what he is. I see his games instantly now. So obvious once you're aware. Oh my gosh, Crystal, I want to emphasize this because I think it's really important. that this is how I handle my relationship with narcissists too. No, they don't know that I know. And if they don't know that you know, you have the upper hand. You're going to be able to not react when they go into their crazy smear campaigns, and they're going to be like, oh, they think that they're so smooth and smart, that they're being underhanded and they're trying to sabotage you. And in the meantime, you're completely aware of what they're doing. And you just go, I'm not going to respond to that because it's idiocy. And by the way, guy number one and guy number two, who got caught in her web, probably both are hearing all kinds of smear about who knows, everybody, right? Um, the sad thing is, those who are caught in her web will believe it. The flying monkeys, the fan club, the exes that have no idea that this person is a narcissist, they are still entangled so much and deceived so much that they believe it. It's very sad for them because they are still then stuck in that crazy town, that churn cycle of craziness where nothing's going to make sense in the end. And it doesn't even make sense now while they're in it. And they know that it doesn't make sense, but they're trying to make it make sense. They're trying to make it logical. They're trying to believe her and give consistency to her stories, which of course are not consistent. But you remember what it was like, right? When you were in it. It was just absolute crazy town. And it was like being in a tornado, being spun around so much. And you're just trying to latch onto something to stabilize yourself. And you're building lie upon lie upon lie just to make sense of what's going on and what's happening to you. Yeah, that's worse. That is so much worse than being where we are, where we're on the outside and we can see what's going on over there. I mean, we can not even be looking, but in your head what the heck is going on over there. And that's enough to keep you away. That's enough to keep you no contact. You guys, that's what I wanted to share. Original one says, thank you very much, Crystal. It hasn't been easy at all. My story is really messed up. But really, I appreciate your acknowledgement and support. God bless. Oh, that's great. Diva R says, no contact is 100% necessary for recovery, or gray rock if you have kids. There is no other way. And I have to 100% agree with Diva there. If you have to, agriculturist, if you're still here, when you are there with your ex at the company trip, I guess, business trip that you've got coming up, gray rock. Just gray rock, treat them the way you would, probably not the way you would to someone you don't know, because you're probably very pleasant with someone you don't know, but treat them with a gray rock expression. Look up what gray rock means. It's giving them no emotional response. That's what gray rock is. You answer their question, but you don't get giddy, you don't flirt, you don't become inviting, you're not going to extend warmth to them when you talk to them. You're going to just answer their question. How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And that's it. You don't invite any more conversation. That's gray rock. You just don't give them more than that. And I guess some people would say gray rock is you don't even respond to them, but that's, in a business situation, you may not have that option. It's going to be too obvious and too crazy looking. You can be cordial and not give them any emotional feedback. So just do that. Guys. Hey, Gamer Christina, good to see you here. Kathy, hi. It's been a while. And actually, I saw you last time, and I don't know if I said hi on the video, so I wanted to say that. Good to see you again, Kathy Greenia. Kathy says, oh, you're doing well. Okay, that's great. And you're just busy in the greenhouse. Yay. Oh, that time of year. Yes. Oh, I got to take care of my yard, by the way, Kathy. I'm going to be so busy this summer taking care. I got to take out some stuff and replace it and rocks and all that. Diva says they are always lying and telling stories. Yes. Original one says, yes, Miss Crystal Jean. These people are super devious. My narc is unbelievable. The things she has said and done, the gaslighting, trauma bonding, etc., etc., etc. I've lost good friends because of it. Yes, and you will. You will lose good friends. I have as well. But here's the deal: when those good friends become flying monkeys of the narcissist, they are no longer your friend. I hate to say that. At most, they're your acquaintances. You don't want to share anything personal with them because it will get back to the narcissist. It will get back to your ex. And then your ex is going to use that to smear you and hurt you and manipulate you more. And you don't want to do that. So, best thing to do is not get into contact with these mutual friends or flying monkeys that are a fan club that they created out of your mutual friends. Yeah, it's sad in a way, but in a way also, it's just part of life. You have to let go of people. You're not in control of them. You can't make them do things. Um, it's up to them to believe or not believe. It's up to them to wake up or not wake up. We just can't force people to do that. So, oh, Kathy says just for myself. Oh, you're the greenhouse? Yeah. So, you guys, I'm going to let you finish up here. I don't know how far back. I guess I'm almost at the end of your comments. Let me just, Diva says, I am proud of myself for staying no contact because he tried everything in the book to hoover and stalk me, even currently. Yes. I'm proud of you too for staying no contact. Oh, Kathy. Yeah, for medical reasons. I get it. Cool. Okay, Crystal Jean says, original one, you shouldn't feel confused or imbalanced in a relationship. I never felt solid or secure with him. Always in a fog of confusion. Didn't know what it was. You know what that reminds me of, Crystal, is with my husband, I feel solid. When things are crazy, like I was saying, I had a really crappy week with our cars. He's my anchor. He brings me back to, hey, it's not a big deal. We'll just handle this. I'm like, oh, you're right. We will. And then we move on. That's what a good relationship is. You bring each other back to reality when one is going through a hardship or going through emotional turmoil or confusion of any other kind. The world is so crazy, right? Life is hard. So when you are able to find friends or a lover, or you have family who can be that anchor for you, who can bring you back to reality, who are able to calm you, that's so good. I would recommend you continue to work on those relationships and build those relationships. Michelle Clark, good to see you. Welcome. Michelle says, his flying monkeys laugh at me because I became depressed and gained weight over losing him. Oh my gosh, Michelle. Yes, I'm so sorry about that, but that is that is what they will do. And you're not alone. That has happened to a lot of victims of narcissistic abuse. So I hope, though, that as you start to get stronger, as you join these communities, that you will start investing in yourself again. You're going to start getting healthier. You're going to get stronger. And not that it matters what they think, it matters what you think. It matters how you feel about you. And I want you to feel the best about yourself. So get going, get working on yourself, build up your financial security, build up your physical health, build up your emotional health. You're going to be amazing. And not that it matters, but when they start to look at you after that, they're going to realize that him leaving you or you being away from your ex was the best thing in your life. Kathy says, 3 years, just now feeling myself. Hobbies, friends, peace. I have peace. Yes. So glad to hear that. You guys, I am so far over. Natasha Simon says, no contact is one of the best answers to the demons. Yes. No contact. Brenda B. He told me he was happy with his ex, but then went back to her and discarded her as well in a year. Yes, Brenda, that's exactly what, we're discussing with John earlier. His ex is trying to contact him, but all that's going to happen there is she's feeling lonely or she's feeling empty because her current partner is not fulfilling her. So she thinks that going back to John is going to fulfill her. And of course, he's not going to be able to fulfill her either because nobody can. and then she's going to just discard him. And that's what we're hoping to help each other see when we're tempted to go back. Yeah. Well, you guys, I think Kathy says real chat would be so cool, Oscar. Yes. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I want to do it in a way where people can call in, but it'll be one at a time, so it's not absolute, crazy and whatever. But yeah, I'm hoping to do that. I will let you know when that happens. But in the meantime, I'm going to do this segment called Crazy Talk, and we'll see how that goes. I think I'm going to upload those on Saturdays. You guys, so good. Original one, I want to see what you said here. Walking on eggshells, always wondering how I was going to somehow cause an argument because of something I said or did. I couldn't even listen to my own music in my car. LOL. Yes. Yes, that will happen. Diva says, you can call me honey. You know what? I probably will. And I guess I shouldn't apologize, right? Because that's a nice little nickname. Agriculturist. Kathy, we do have greenhouses too. Oh, okay. You guys are talking about. I'm just going to skip through you guys. I hope that you have had a good week, and I hope that you will continue to get better, and stronger, you guys. I'm going to have to finish up here. I'm going to let you finish saying goodbye. Blessings to all of you. I'm so glad that you came and joined us today. Stay strong. Do good things and make this week great. Bye, you guys, and I'll see you soon.